Do you like listening to people talk about sports? Do you like reading people's writing about sports in terms of blogs and articles? If you said yes to any of these questions, then do yourself a favor and check out www.bellyupsports.com. They are the wonderful host of our podcast, and they are a great website that has tons of different blogs, articles, and podcasts on the sports you want to know about. Check them out. You won't regret it. Hello, everybody. This is Baseball and Whatever. Justin here, Greg, Vinnie. We are back with episode 28. I will admit I am running on fumes. I am tired because I have a newborn screaming upstairs.
Dad is tired. Dad is tired. He will try and make it through.
Thank you. Yep. My wife's on baby duty right now, so she is letting me podcast.
Well, there's a backup plan in case you got to go, I guess.
Oh, really?
And that's me and Vinny going, all right, let's go to bed.
Yep. Well, I thought we were going to talk about Bond.
We can if you want, dude. I will catch my second and third wind, and let me tell you a tale, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't know if you guys can tell. I know most people listen, but if you're watching the YouTube feed, I have not shaved in 5 days. Can you guys tell?
Was that why the camera's a little farther away? Maybe it's a different setup.
Oh, so I made sure the camera was farther away because I looked at the video. I had it too close. I looked like I was about 700 pounds in the last episode. So I needed to back it up a little bit to get the frame. So, I needed to smear some Vaseline on the camera lens next time. But anyway, we are Baseball and Whatever. We're back. Thank you for listening. If this is your first time, no, what can I say? I'm like loopy at this point. We are Baseball and Whatever. We talk primarily baseball. Then we throw a little Bears in. These boys have been gracious enough to let me talk about hockey for about 3-4 minutes, which I got plenty to say today. And then we do our whatever segment where we kind of pick a random thing. And tonight, the Slime 5 that Greg has dubbed is back. He is going to draw 5 random It's Always Sunny episodes for us, and then Vinny and I are going to rank them because if we haven't said it before on the podcast, me and Vinny are huge It's Always Sunny fans.
And they will be put to the test today.
I'm a little concerned.
I do not watch the show, ladies and gentlemen. I've seen one episode.
You're missing out, Greg.
Of It's Always Sunny. It was very funny. It was very fun.
Which one was it?
No good reason. They're trying to get into like a private swimming pool or something.
Oh, that's a good one.
It was really funny. Really quick though, Justin. I actually, since it's episode 28 and it's hockey season, I had a 28 on the Blackhawks for you. I didn't know this one. I only know baseball numbers.
All right, what do you got for me?
But how about 2013 Stanley Cup champion right winger Ben Smith?
I'll take that. I liked Ben Smith, former Wisconsin Badger, and Vinny's got the Badgers flag rug hanging in the background. So former Badger.
That was totally random, incidental. I did not even know he was a Badger, so that could have worked.
There you go.
Better.
I'm happy to oblige. You could also go Mark Bell, who was in the late 90s, early 2000s when they were god awful, and I think he ended up with a DUI at some point too. But Tony. It must be something with coming to Chicago.
Some other 28s I had really quick were obviously Kyle Hendricks, Larry Garcia currently, Joey Cora when he was on the White Sox.
I remember Joey
and
Cora.
The other one that popped in my head for the Cubs was good old guy Todd Hollandsworth.
I did like Todd Hollandsworth. Man. I did like.
And he was in broadcasting.
He did it for a long time, and then he went down to Miami. He got a job doing the play-by-play or color commentary for the Marlins, and that's when he left Chicago. So
that's right, it was. You're right.
I was a big fan of his. I liked when they let him play left a little bit more near the tail end of his time with the Cubs. So good pull.
For sure.
I don't think we don't really have any listener feedback, but Greg's got some hot takes for us.
Well, first, before we started that, since we didn't have anything, but did we have a new YouTube subscriber?
We have several. We're up to about 55 or 56.
55, but they're
private, so we can't see who they are. So thank you to those that record.
You random people out there. Thank you.
Keep listening. And I know our last episode was a little bit late, obviously, because I had the had to deal with the baby and had some camera issues there.
The baby.
Yep.
Yes, I need to watch that episode.
I like how you said "say" or "deal with the baby."
Deal with
the baby. He's already.
I'm still learning the terminology.
He learns fast, ladies and gentlemen.
She's a beauty. She's been a little fussy today, though. So of course,
she is a cutie.
Right after all the parents leave, that's when she gets fussy. So all the grandparents, I should say, but we'll roll with it. So. All right. Greg's got some hot takes for us, though. I am very excited about these hot takes to get us going, and then we'll jump in. We got some White Sox.
White season.
Oh boy, man. Oh boy. We got.
I won't say what I was gonna say, but
we got some White Sox off-season previews from Greg. We also are going to recap the amazing 2004 trade that brought Nomar Garcia-Parra to the Cubs. I'm excited because I will tell you, I know I didn't know either one of you at the time, but I was jumping up and down like a little schoolboy when they got Nomar.
Well, good. I want you to save those thoughts, Justin, because I have questions for you about that. I'm going to go over kind of what the logistics were.
Okay.
And then it's more of a question, just like let's review the time he was here and stuff like that. So awesome. But I want you to save that emotion.
Oh, I'll bring it. Don't you worry. And then we also got Greg's gonna tear Pecoda. The Pecoda rankings from last season and see where those teams left off. And then, like I said, then we got our sunny episodes with the Slime 5 where Greg will pull random episodes. So, Greg, before I stumble over myself again, please tell us your hot takes.
Well, like I said, in lieu of comments and correspondence, because there was nothing. So I just figured we all kind of share.
Uh-oh.
Oh no!
Oh man, this episode's off to a bang right now.
Yeah.
While we're waiting for Greg to reconnect, I'll share some of his hot takes. I'm hoping I'm not stealing his thunder here. The one thing he wanted to say is he just found out that Uncharted is in post-production.
Oh,
there he is.
Back.
All right,
okay,
you're back. So go ahead, tell us about the Uncharted post-production movie.
Well,
Greg.
it's telling me my internet connection is unstable, so just finish it if I die again.
All right, will do.
All right. So as you just said, Justin, I found out today that there's an Uncharted movie. I did not know this. I did not know Tom Holland was in it. I didn't know Mark Wahlberg was in it. Didn't know what they were doing. There was a trailer. I watched the trailer. It looks like the video game. They'll probably be a bad movie, but was
the video game good?
It's video game's great. Fantastic.
Okay.
4 or 5 good, really
beautiful.
Good games. 6 good games if you count the Vita one. Yeah, 6 good games.
But it's got a great cast. I mean, Tom Holland, Spider-Man, Mark Wahlberg, Sully. I mean, and the female they cast as Chloe looks right on point.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited. I'm cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, I mean, the game is obviously tremendous, but we'll see about the movie.
Yeah.
Speaking of movies, have a hot take for you guys. I had to subscribe to Peacock Elite or whatever it was. I'm sorry, I know I can't say P on the airwaves, but Halloween Kills was awesome.
It
was just awesome. Mess. What was that?
It was so awesome. They're taking them offline.
Yeah.
Am I gone again?
You're back, Greg. You're back.
Oh, my bad. All right. You know what? I don't know what the issue is, so I'm just gonna limp through this. Halloween Kills was good. It might be my second favorite Halloween movie of all time. There you go.
Wow.
Did that make it through?
I did make it through.
Lastly, before I cut out again, finally started Far Cry 6 like 2 weeks later, and it's fucking great.
Is it?
And
is it good?
It's all
Would you recommend it to somebody who hasn't played one since Far Cry 3?
I would recommend it to people who even haven't played a video game before. It's
really?
Good.
Wow.
Oh, it's classic Far Cry. I'm obviously being silly, but really enjoying it. And it's not going in the backlog. Sorry.
Wow. So, that's high. That's high praise, Greg.
Yes, it is.
That's really.
All right, I had to. That was going to be a lot more extravagant, but I had to shorten it up. In interest of my internet connection here. So
fair enough.
You guys continue with the next part.
All right. I know we talked about, we got some new YouTube subscribers. So thank you very much. Those that subscribed. I wrote this down. Can we also just mention how amazing the new Batman trailer is?
Yes.
It's amazing. I am so pumped for that movie.
That trailer was great. I was shocked. Can't believe it, especially with Robert Pattinson. I never would have expected what they're showing on the trailer for him to like put out there. So
no, and like
he looks great. I mean, he looks great as Batman. But yeah, I'm really excited for it. And
that suit is growing on me too.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't like it at first, but I'm like, it's kind of growing on me a little bit.
Two scenes in the trailer, if you want to call them that I really liked was, first of all, I don't know how you would frame it, but where he's walking down that hallway and all those gang members are shooting at him, and it's like a strobe light with the muzzle flash.
Yeah,
incredible. And then the other thing that, like, the ending of the trailer shows he's chasing the Penguin. And somehow the Penguin blows something up, and he's like, "Oh, I got you!" And he's pointing behind him. It's like, I found that hilarious. And then all of a sudden, you just see the Batmobile come shooting out of the flames and just rear ends them, and he flips the car. And I got to admit, the first time I saw that Batmobile, I'm like, it's fine. It's really grown on me. Like, I love the muscle car look. I don't know why. I think that's a really cool idea. But and I love the fact that the Penguin is more of like a crime boss as he is in the comics, as opposed to this deformed Danny DeVito-esque walking around like this,
Yeah.
But I'm all in. I'm ready. March.
Did you guys?
March 4th,
who's playing the Riddler?
It's Paul.
What's
something.
his name?
I'll look it up. You guys, but I don't know. I don't know is he the one that's in the jumpsuit, because they don't show that person's face.
He's the one that gets busted at the bar or the diner in the beginning, and then he's more of like a serial killer Riddler.
Yeah, because there's a scene in the
Paul Dano.
That's it. There's a scene in the trailer where it shows, like, it says something like serial killer live streams, victims, final words or something like that. And I'm like, oh God, that's really, like, with as big as live streaming is now, that's kind of really on dark point, I suppose. So dark too. Yeah. So
did you guys get Robert De Niro vibes from the Penguin at all?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
I know that's Colin. I still can't believe that's Colin Farrell.
I know.
Neither can I. That is insane.
But really quick, Justin, that last scene you were talking about, that upside down shot with the flames in the background right before it, pulls into the Batman logo and he's just walking towards the car. I mean, that was amazing.
This might be kind of crazy, and don't get me wrong, I love the Michael Keaton Batmobile. Like, that's your quintessential Batmobile, but there's something to be said for a Batmobile that's kind of grounded in the reality. And I think that's why I like the Tumbler so much from the Dark Knight series, because it's just like, this is a military vehicle that no one used, and he just co-opted it into himself. Right. And then same thing with this one, where it's like a car that I don't know if it's him working on it or Alfred or someone else that's, in the fold.
It looks like something like he could actually build, kind of in a shop. So.
Right. So when they kind of make that connection that it's not just some crazy ornate vehicle, I like that. So yeah, I'm all in. March 4th cannot get here soon enough. I'm ready to see that.
That's sooner than I expected to. I thought it was going to come out later.
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy about. So.
Mm-hmm. And then we got Michael Keaton in The Flash. What'd you guys think of the Flash trailer?
I really liked it.
Interesting.
I liked it not nearly as much as I liked the Batman one.
No, the Batman trailer was much better. I liked it purely for Keaton. And seeing the Keaton call. I mean, that's a moment that sold me. And I wasn't even paying attention to the other stuff.
No, and I mean, I guess they did say they didn't have enough really filmed, so it was more of a teaser. But
exactly.
It seems like in one scene they showed a bunch of different flashes behind him. So clearly, the whole multiverse thing is a thing that they're going for with Michael Keaton, and I'll be very curious. The way they keep building this up, I sure as hell hope he's got a decent part, and it's not just like hey, I'm gonna go check out this universe, and there's Michael Keaton. Oh, okay, we're gonna leave. We're gonna go back to our universe. You know what I mean? Like, I hope it's more. I
still want him to be bad. I still want him to be like in some weird upside bizarre,
like a weird
universe where he's like a bad Batman, which would be, I don't know. I don't think it's gonna happen because you can't. I don't know.
Yeah,
I know Keaton could do it though. I mean, if there's one guy to do it,
Yeah, you're right.
But I don't think it'll happen after seeing the trailer. But I was really hoping for that to be twist. What it was. Yeah, to be like some kind of twist in it, and I would have been all on board for that.
Yeah,
but
I mean, I'll still watch it creative like that. Yeah,
right. But we'll see what happens.
Very good. And then Greg, I think you got one more video game.
Yeah, I have a fourth thing, and this is just something I added because I was reading on my phone. Crystal Dynamics Studios teaming up with Xbox and the Initiative on the new Perfect Dark reboot, which I'm very much looking forward to. It'll probably be like come out in like 4 years. And I'll probably need an Xbox Series X for it, but at least it gives me some time because I love.
Yeah, you got time. And Crystal Dynamics did that whole new Tomb Raider reboot.
They did Tomb Raider, yeah.
And the third one I played a little bit. It didn't really hold my attention, but the first two, the second one in particular, I think it's called Rise of the Tomb Raider, is really, really good. So if you're going to play one, definitely check that out. So yeah, it should be pretty good. Well, it's time to break down the White Sox offseason preview. Greg, where do you want to start?
Oh, I was enjoying the video game talk.
I know.
And all the movie talk.
More
we'll just talk about positive. That. Exactly. Yep. So what I figure we're going to do here, now that the White Sox season is over, we'll kind of go through position by position, one position an episode, and just kind of see where the team's at.
Okay.
With the position, and see if any upgrades are needed, or there's a change that needs to be made. So I'm going to do it in random order. I know Sox fans have been buzzing about second base a little bit. Who's going to play second base for the White Sox next season? So for me, that priority level is somewhere, it's not like a gaping need for me. I mean, to be perfectly honest, if the White Sox, and feel free to chime in with your thoughts, but if the White Sox, pick up the $6 million on Cesar Hernandez, who I believe has a club option, I think I'm okay with that.
I thought I read somewhere that they declined it.
Oh, did they decline it?
Wow.
Let me double check. I thought I saw something today that said that. But
okay, maybe I'm behind then. But anyway, I'll stick with that. Saying I'd be perfectly fine if they did that, because the only free agent second baseman that really interests me or really want is Marcus Semien, and I don't know if they would go that direction. I don't know if they revisit. I'm just talking about free agents here. What's that?
That would cost too much.
Oh, it would cost. It would. I mean, and the White Sox don't spend.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to revisit Eduardo Escobar or look at Chris Taylor, maybe, or do we dare even consider Javi Baez?
I was going to say that
second base to Javi boost Baez? The power up. You know what? That's intriguing. I don't know what the price would be. We've been going back and forth about what he's getting paid. We don't think he's getting paid so much. And the money factor is not really a big part of it. It's just performance on the field.
Yep.
I don't know if I can live with Baez yet. On the team, I don't know.
He played really well with the.
He did, and
his walk rate was up.
We could use the pop in the bat, to be perfectly honest. So that's interesting. Anything on Cesar Hernandez, Justin? Because now I'm genuinely interested.
There was one Twitter account. It's not verified, but on October 20th, they said the White Sox there are rumors that the White Sox are not expected to pick up Cesar Hernandez's $6 million option. So that hasn't been picked up by other sports media stations.
Was it Bob Nightingale?
No, it was the MLB News Network. So, I mean, they have 4,000 followers, and I don't know. It could be a bunch of crap, but I know I thought I saw it somewhere. So that was where I saw it, but
I think we lost Greg again.
Oh man. He's
struggling tonight.
He's struggling tonight. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, I almost want to be like, gosh, you guys had a second baseman, and I don't know where he went. Where did he? Oh, he's on the Cubs.
Well, they got Jake Berger too sitting in the minor leagues. I'm not sure how high Greg is on him.
They gave him a couple games at second, right, just to get him in the lineup.
Well, he was playing second down in the minors too. So
okay,
I think they gotta get a free agent. I don't think they can really.
I mean, I will.
They're in win now mode after last year's trades. They're in win now. They have to spend. The window's open, so they got to get going.
And I know Greg mentioned Marcus Semien. I would love to see what he could do going back to the Sox, because he's had a pretty good career in Oakland, and then he had a great year this year in Toronto for the most part. So I mean, if the Sox were to bring him back, that would be really cool, but we'll see.
I'm back. Were we talking about Semien still?
We're still talking about Semien.
I mentioned where are you at on Berger?
Oh, not Jake
Burgers, but Jake Berger, yeah.
Well, Burgers I love. Jake Berger I like. I don't know if that's going to work out. Not if it wasn't the window's closing. I think it has to be an established major leaguer. I think
that's what we were talking about.
The window's already closing, Greg?
Yeah, I was going to say the window's open. It's
open, but it closes a little bit more each year, I think.
Oh man.
I mean, I'm not trying to be a downer about it, but I really think this team needs to move a little bit faster with building this contender, boosting it up a little bit. So Yeah, I don't know. With Jake Berger, probably not. I think I'm a no on that.
No,
but because he's new position, we'll see. Like I said, I like him if he can translate to the majors faster. If that's a thing, then yeah. But as of today, I think like an established major leaguer makes more sense for this thing moving forward.
Now, I saw this. Yeah. I saw this floated on Twitter. It was absolutely ridiculous, but I wanted to run this by you. Yeah. How about Andrew Vaughn? He has major league experience at second base.
Yeah, he does.
Played one game.
One game there, whatever. That has been floated around Twitter. So if Andrew Vaughn trade rumors, that's still a tough one. I know it makes sense. I know if you can get a piece, but it would kind of twist the knife a little bit if we let this guy walk or something. But second base, I don't know. He's been versatile, but I don't know if that's really gonna be a thing.
Greg? Would you be open to moving Moncada to second?
And then
there's a
that also makes a lot of sense.
There's a third baseman in San Francisco right now that
I was going to say there is Chris Bryant,
but he can also play the outfield too, which I'll get to in a future episode. He can play a lot of positions.
He can play second too, I think.
Has he played second base before?
I think he's played everywhere.
There's a first time for everything.
Yeah, there is. So be definitely down for that if he's willing to play second base.
Yeah,
but Moncada to second. I feel like he's like second base is too much for him mentally to handle or something, because when we tried him there his first year, he just stunk, and he stunk again this year. So I don't know if that's going to help him out. I really like him over there at third base, but it's a realistic option, to be perfectly honest with you. So
yeah,
I don't know. There's a lot of possibilities for this offseason, and I think we'll kind of cover a bunch of them. But no, Berger was definitely interesting, and I didn't write that up. But yeah, it's just, for me, I like him, but I don't know. I don't know if this is the time.
Not his time yet. Not yet.
I want to mention the bullpen really quick. Evan Marshall is going to undergo Tommy John. He'll probably miss the 2022 season, if there is one. And so I was wondering, speaking of Tommy John, will we see the return of Jimmy Guns, Jimmy Cordero at age 30? We missed him all last year. In 2019, he was solid. He pitched 30 games, had a 2.75 ERA, 36 innings, and 31 strikeouts. And I'm sure you remember him hitting Wilson Contreras.
That's right.
For the bat flip off of Cease, and then getting the 3-game suspension. That was 2019. Then in 2020, he was a lot worse. He pitched the same amount of games, 6.08 ERA, 26 innings pitched, and 22 strikeouts. And before reaching Tommy John. So I don't know where this guy's gonna fit in, but he's more than likely going to be back. I don't know, with Evan Marshall being gone, unless they get another bullpen piece. So maybe Mr. Muscles will be back in the bullpen. We'll see. But speaking of bullpen, was this Bob Nightingale tweet a few days ago about the White Sox picking up Kimbrel's $16 million option and then trading him away. Here's how I feel about that. I think that is absolute shit. And if the White Sox do that, I think they should just stop trying to run a baseball team and just self-decommission or something like that. Because we're in this championship window right now, and it closes a little more each year. You better figure out how to utilize the Hall of Fame closer right now. And if you can't do that, if the coaches can't figure that out, then they're just like on Matt Nagy level, pretty much. So if you make him now, this is a new season coming in. If he needs to be the closer, make him the closer. I didn't like the idea at first this season because I didn't want to mess things up. I don't want to start switching up roles, when things were going a little crazy or whatever. If you have to do it, if he needs to pitch the ninth inning, if that's where he is mentally, do it. We need him to be part of this team. So if that means Hendricks moves to setup or, 7, 8, whatever it is, fine, and give him the ninth if that's what he needs. Because here, I mean, we trade away Madrigal, we traded away Hoyer, two, young quality players for this asshat, and I'm not ready to trade him away, pick up his option, then trade him away for some prospect prick or something that's not going to help us, right now. Because I don't see what you're getting for Kimbrel for $16 million when he's on an expiring 1-year deal. I think he needs to be on this team, contributing one way or the other. Figure out what works. If he's struggling with whatever, if he's not comfortable with his role, or if has trouble adjusting, whatever it is, figure it out and get him back to the way he was pitching with the Cubs for a little bit last year. If you ask me to make that trade again, most people say, I want Nick Madrigal back and everything. It's like, guys, I'm still making that trade. Yes, I miss Nick Madrigal. Lo and behold, yes, I changed my tune. But, I really think that was a good, like I go back and say, I think that was a great trade for both teams. The Cubs, obviously, in the long run. And for the White Sox, it just made sense at the time. Yeah, it didn't work out the way we wanted, but we need to make it work. We can't trade him away because then we lose him. We lost Hoyer, Madrigal, and who do we get? We get, Joe Schmo blow from the Phillies or something like that. So no thanks. Figure out Kimbrel. Make him the closer if you have to. We need him here. So nice. And then if he sucks, you'll hear me just completely change everything.
Yeah.
Well,
trade him.
Trade him. Yep. No, change my mind.
I picked up that option.
I want the Phillies prick. So
yeah.
Nobody wants anybody from the Phillies. Who you kidding?
No, we don't.
No.
I'll take Bryce Harper.
Yeah, I'll take Harper.
Bryce Harper. Yeah.
All the douchiness that comes with
him.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm excited to hear the rest of your preseason predictions, rankings, and
we'll go position by position, each week or something like that. So just kind of a little bit of a preview, I suppose.
Very cool. Well, thank you. All right, Greg, or actually no, Vinny, did you do the down on the farm or was that Greg?
Yep, that was me.
All right, you want to run through Bailey Horn real quick before we get to the Nomar trade?
Yeah, that was the one trade that the Cubs won from or the White Sox won from the Cubs this year. If you don't remember, that was the trade for Ryan Tepera. It was Bailey Horn for Ryan Tepera straight up. Bailey Horn, he's a left-handed pitcher. He's started games and he's come out of the pen as like a swing man. He's drafted in the 5th round, 2020 by the White Sox. Started the season as the White Sox number 50th prospect. At the time of the trade, he was the number 30th by Fangraphs in the White Sox system, and he is currently ranked number 54 in the Cubs system. His fastball is a 55-60 grade, sliders a 50-55 grade, curveballs a 50-50 grade, and his command is 40-45, and his future value grade is a 35 plus. I could tell you that he did not pitch well in the minors this year. Let me pull up his stats real quickly here.
He's got potential, I guess, right? I mean,
yeah, he pitched low A and with the White Sox, and at low A he pitched well. He had a 2.63 ERA, a 1.024 WHIP, a strikeout per 9 of 10.5, strikeout to walks 4.57. When he moved to high A with the White Sox, that's when things started going off the rails for him. He had an ERA of 13.9.
Wow.
And that was pitching, let's see here. Where's his innings pitched? He only pitched in 11 innings, but 13.09 ERA, a whip of 2.091.
Oh, my God.
He's still maintain a good strikeout per 9 of 10.6, so he's pretty consistent there. Yeah. Yep, his strikeouts to walks was 1.18, so that dropped considerably. So he started having some command issues, putting people on, and that just led to issues when he was getting hit. With the high A South Bend Cubs, he was better, not great, but better. He had pitched. Let's see here, 21.2 innings. He had a 4.98 ERA, a whip of 1.523, and a strikeouts per 9 of 10, and a strikeouts to walk of 2.18. So, yeah, it seems like command was his biggest issue this year. So hopefully a full season at the pitching lab with the Cubs, or whatever they call their little pitching institution.
Oh, yeah.
Pitch lab or whatever. Hopefully a full off season there will right the ship and he can get his command under control, because it seems like once his command's on, he's good. If his command's off, he is bad. So yep, that's what I have for Bailey Horn, prospect from the Ryan Tepera trade.
Very nice. Well, I look forward to seeing if he can get his 15 ERA down this upcoming season. That should be no tall task, I'm sure. But
down is good. Down is good. Don't want to go any higher.
Please don't go any higher. Please don't. So, all right. I am very excited once I saw Greg put this on the outline as well. We are going to revisit the Nomar Garciaparra trade back from 2004. To be in 2004, I think I was a junior in high school back then. Those were the days, not a care in the world. So, Greg, break it down. Break down what happened in this lead up to the Nomar trade in 04.
Absolutely. So I kind of titled this, "Were you glad he was a Cub?" And I'm not, there's no right or wrong answers for this. It's more of just kind of sharing, you know, how you felt about his tenure here or anything like that. I'm just going to kind of go over the facts and we'll just kind of go from there. So if you remember, it was a 4-team trade that finally brought Nomar to the Cubs. So to go over that trade, the Cubs received Nomar Garciaparra and Matt Merton from Boston. You guys remember Matt Merton?
Oh, how could I forget?
The Montreal Expos received Brendan Harris, the bad Alex Gonzalez, and a pitcher Francis Beltran from the Cubs.
Okay, I remember Brendan Harris. He was like a third baseman or trying to break it as a third baseman. Never really caught on. Alex Gonzalez.
You know that one.
The most that can be said about him is that dropped grounder to shortstop in the 03.
You know, and the sad thing was he had like the best fielding percentage in the majors that year.
He did.
That was probably his best season in base for his career that he had with the Cubs in 03 and 02, 03, I think.
He was a horrible hitter, though, from what I remember. He could not save his life.
Hit mostly eighth. You know,
like 220, 210, something like that.
But so another team involved in the trade were the Boston Red Sox. Obviously, they got Orlando Cabrera from Montreal and Doug Mankiewicz, first baseman of the Twins. There's a name for you.
Yep.
And the Lonely Twins received the shit end of this deal, and they got a pitcher, Justin Jones.
Couldn't tell you a single thing about him.
Nope. We'll get back to him in a little bit.
All right.
So that was 2004. Obviously, the Cubs, managed by Dusty Baker, were gunning for the postseason again. They missed the playoffs. Unfortunately, they finished 89-73, a very respectable record.
Yep.
But it was only good enough for third place. Nomar with the Cubs in 04. He played 43 games. He slashed 297, 364, 455, 819 OPS with 4 home runs and 20 RBIs while battling that Achilles injury.
Yep.
So that was Nomar with the Cubs in 04. I'm kind of got to go over how the other guys fared on from there that the Cubs gave up. So we'll start with Brendan Harris. I don't think you guys missed much from Brendan Harris. His best seasons came with the Twins in 07, 209. He slashed 256, 314, 381, 669 career. Nothing spectacular about that. Had a brief comeback in 2013 with the Angels, fizzled out from there. Alex Gonzalez actually finished out the 2004 season with the Padres. The Expos ended up dealing him again.
That's right.
He finished the 04 season total, including the Cubs, 225, 263, 368, and 632. So kind of like the numbers you were putting out there, Justin, right on point his career. And defensively that year, nothing great. I think he had a negative F4 or something like that, like right below 0. So nothing good there. And then he just kind of pissed out after the 06 season. That pitcher I brought up, Francis Beltran, he barely did anything. And then the pitcher, the Twins got Justin Jones. He was actually a second-round pick for the Cubs, but he never made it to the big leagues, believe it or not. Career
sounds like a lot of
leaguer. Cubs. Yeah. So really didn't miss out on much right over there. I'll tell you one, while we're on trades really quick, one trade the Cubs did make that offseason in November was acquiring Derek Lee for Hee-Seop Choi.
That was a big one. What was Florida thinking on that one?
I know Hee-Seop Choi. Hee-Seop Choi didn't even finish the season with the Marlins before he was dealt with to the Dodgers.
Yep.
And Derek Lee was with the Cubs until 2010.
Yes.
So
wasn't Hee-Seop Choi's dad coaching the Marlins at the time? Was he one of the position coaches? I thought
he might have been.
I thought he was.
That you know what? I don't know.
He was supposed to be really good.
He was. I remember he got hurt at some point in the season, and that kind of. I'm wondering if that kind of derailed his career a little bit.
He was good with. He started off hot with the Marlins too that season, but kind of fizzled out after that. Right before they traded him. So, anywho, I wanted to stop there before I continue on about Nomar. So that was year one of Nomar Garciaparra, the 04 trade. Justin, what were you feeling when the Cubs, when you found out the Cubs were
I
getting
can tell
Nomar
you exactly
Garciaparra?
where I was and what I was doing and what I was thinking when I heard this trade. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
How much of a devout Cubs fan I still am.
Ready.
But, all right, I remember we were camping. And I was with my family and we brought a few friends up. And at night, I knew it was the trade deadline. So I brought my radio. And at night, as the trades were rolling in at the deadline, I had the radio on while everyone was trying to sleep. And everyone was telling me to shut the hell up. I want to go to bed. I needed to hear the trades because there's nothing more exciting to me than, besides watching the games, than seeing trade deadline day and free agency opening day. Like, I get so excited. Hot stove meetings, when those start, like, I love those almost more than watching the actual sport. And I just remember them coming over. They're like, all right, Nomar was traded, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh my God, we got Nomar. And I was jumping up and down, screaming in the tent, or screaming in our camper, I should say, getting all excited about it. And they're like, dude, no one cares that you want to hear the trades. Go to bed. Like my friends, they were more hockey focused. They did not care about baseball. And I'm like, you don't understand. This is a big deal. And they're like, whatever. So
whatever.
I was super excited. I know they brought him back for the 05 season to see if, after the Achilles injury, and I know you're going to go over, things did not go well that season for him. He got hurt again. And it was really a shame because he seemed like a decent guy. He had potential to be a pretty good player for the Cubs, granted later in his career. And it just didn't work out. And then I know you'll get into when he went to LA, it really turned around for him. So figures
just for that 1 year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vinny, what do you remember about the Cubs getting Nomar Garciaparra? Were you rooting for the Cubs in 04?
Oh, yeah.
Then?
Yep,
I know
was.
I know that's kind of when you jumped, kind of started getting into baseball a little more.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So I remember, I was waking up in the morning and turning on ESPN, seeing the trade. I wasn't like Justin at the time where I
the night before
have to stay up. Yeah. I wasn't that into baseball at the time, but I was.
Well, you knew Nomar Garciaparra.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I knew this was
that's
a big
when
deal.
players were popular,
I remember, I'd wake up every morning in the summer and watch ESPN in the mornings. And
Sports Center.
I remember that. And they were going over his stats and I'm like, oh my God, this is it. They're gonna do it. They got the guy they need. He's gonna be a great piece in the offense. This is it. They're gonna make a run. And then just injuries after injuries, and just never was what the Cubs and everybody hoped he would be. Just like everything they trade for, it seems like. Quintana. Oh man, it just. I feel like Aramis Ramirez is probably, and then Derek Lee were probably the best trade pieces.
That was a time too, like when Jim Hendry, who was their GM, like every offseason from like 03 to like 06, he like had to try and make a big move at the deadline. I remember I want to say like 06, he brought in Matt Lawton, and I'm like, oh God, this is the end of the. I'm like, we went from Ramirez to Nomar to Matt Lawton, and I'm like, diminishing returns here, Jim. And then obviously 07 and 08 were great, then everything fell apart. So
yep. Really quick, I don't know how much of a shocker this is going to be to you guys, but I don't think across Cubs and White Sox. I'm not even a Cubs fan, but I don't think I was ever more excited about a baseball player coming to Chicago than Nomar Garciaparra.
Just a big name.
I mean, I was like, even if just to see him on WGM doing the stupid batting glove shit, fixing them every 30 seconds, I'm like, yes, this is amazing. I remember watching his first appearance with the Cubs right after the trade. And actually, I believe he went 1-for-4 that game. And if you guys remember, Alex Gonzalez wore 8 for the Cubs. So Nomar Garciaparra originally got signed number 8.
Yes.
When he first got and he had that number for like a week.
And he went to
before
5.
He switched to 5. Do you remember who gave him number 5?
Michael Barrett.
100% correct.
Yep.
Very good, Justin. But I saw one person in my life that bought the day one original Nomar Garciaparra number 8 jersey. He must have been that excited. So they were out there. You'll still see number 5 one very rarely, but they did come out with a number 8 one.
Yep.
So unfortunately, Nomar didn't get the big payout. The Cubs did re-sign him for a year, 8 1/4. And he was out 3 months with a torn left groin. He was hitting 157 until he got hurt, which I believe was the end of April. He did finish the 05 season just playing 62 games. He slashed 283, 320, 452, 772 OPS, 9 home runs, 30 RBIs. It don't look that bad, but it's 62 games. So I mean, that's nothing.
Yeah.
And the Cubs finished under 500, 4th place at 79 and 83. Missed the playoffs, obviously, and that was the end of Nomar Garciaparra with the Cubs. The next year, I know you know how it is, but I'm going to say it anyway. He signs with the Dodgers in free agency for 1 year, $6 million. Goes on to play 122 games, slashes 303, 367, 505, 872 OPS, 20 home runs, 93 RBIs, mostly playing first base. He was an all-star, 13th in MVP, NL Comeback Player of the Year, all that stuff. But it was it. I mean, that was kind of it after that. But kind of, encompassing all of that. And just remember the excitement you had. And, just whatever you felt. Were you glad he was a Cub in the end? Thinking about what he did, what you gave up, kind of all those factors. Where do you stand on him?
I feel like at that point in time, the Cubs were still the lovable losers. Very rarely, besides Sammy Sosa and maybe Moises Alou and Kerry Wood, but Kerry Wood was homegrown. Like, you didn't really have superstars coming to the Cubs. They were all, I don't want to say has-beens, but people who were well past their prime. And at the time, it seemed like Nomar still had a couple good years in front of him, but unfortunately injuries derailed that. So it definitely kind of pushed that narrative that, like, the Cubs are here, they're going to start attracting big free agents. And I mean, I guess that was partially correct. So, I mean, I would take him every time. I mean, if I didn't know what was going to happen. So I was so happy and so excited about it, though. Holy cow.
Yeah, I think that's where. Go ahead, Vinny.
I was going to say I was more excited. Probably the thing I was most excited for is his wife showing up to baseball games. Yeah.
I forgot. That's right. He's married to her.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't think he's married anymore to her.
Oh, really?
Really?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
A while back, I think they split, but
must have been that Cubs season that did him in.
Yep.
So that was fun.
Overall, I was happy he was a Cub. I just remember the hype around that was just so much fun, and like I said, him doing his little thing at the plate, and then obviously he was one of the names in baseball back when baseball players were popular dudes. I think it was a great story for the Cubs, the city, and just a really good time. I think it captured a lot of attention. So in the end, I'm glad he was a Cub. It's just too bad it didn't work out. And it was all, when he played, he was solid. It was just injuries, unfortunately. So it was too bad, but you always kind of have that memory of when you knew he was on his way here. So
yeah.
Well, that was fun. We might need to dig into some other.
I'll tell you how I came up with it quick. I was watching the Boston game, and Kike Hernandez has been on fire, obviously, and he wears 5 for the for the Red Sox, which is obviously Nomar's number, and they kind of drew like a Nomar comp, just as kind of like a throwaway line in the commentary, like, oh, Kiki Hernandez wearing Nomar's number. I'm like, yeah, good old Nomar, man. So
good.
Let's dig him up again.
Bring him back. Yep. All right, few MLB housekeeping notes here. We got the MLB is finally going to require minor leaguers to have housing that will be provided for them, which I think when we saw that, we all texted. That is definitely in seeing what some of these guys make, and you expect them to play. It's insane what they're making. So
I forgot who the ex player that Bernstein and Rahimi have on, but he was just going through, and it's just something that I never really thought of. But when these guys they get called up to high A, from low A to high A, they have a lease on an apartment.
Yeah.
And they have to leave it, and they have to still pay it. And then they go and they have to find a place to live with. And I forgot who the player was, and I wish I would have tried to find the clipper of that. But he was talking about, I might have been on Lawrence's show too, but he was talking about how he was living with like 4 or 5 other guys, sharing a couch with somebody, and they were all big name players too, like all guys that are stars and big names that you would recognize. And he was just talking about it. It's like, oh yeah, I guess I never really thought about how these guys they don't have housing, and it just makes sense. Just have like a dorm or something that these guys can live in and have a simple amenities where they're not having to sleep literally on top of each other to get some rest. And it's surprising that it's taken this long.
The amount of jobs you'd be able to take to supplement your income with that type of schedule is going to be very difficult too. I mean, unless it's the off season, and so no, good for them. I think that's finally a good move. I hope. I don't know what the other leagues do. Granted, they don't have minor leagues that go as deep as Major League Baseball, but that's that's definitely a positive. The Red Sox set a record this week with 3 grand slams in a single series in the ALCS. They had only hit 3 all year. Man, I'm hoping the Red Sox win this series because I don't want to see an Astros and Dodgers World Series. And I know, granted, the Braves, it did, it did. I'm hoping the Braves can pull one out. Not let the Dodgers
good tonight.
No, it's
not. I think the Dodgers are ahead
2 right now. Ooh,
I'll be honest. Dodgers Astros World Series. I don't even know if I would watch that. It would be. I mean, I'll watch it, but I'm not going to be happy about it.
I won't.
I don't know.
I will just because it's baseball. But what? I've kind of changed my tune on the Red Sox a little bit. I think I'm jumping on them to win it all. I guess
that's who I'm going for at this point. Yeah,
I like. I'm still a big Kyle Schwarber fan too, and he's on the team. I'd kind of like him to get another. Another kind of root for a guy that did a lot of cool things here. So
I'm rooting for the Braves.
Braves.
I mean, I wouldn't. I guess that would be my second choice. But speaking of the Braves, they also walked off the first 2 games against the Dodgers, leading the series 3-1. Sounds like it's up. It's going to be
3-2.
3-2 after
3-2,
tonight.
Yeah.
Mike Schilt maybe to the Padres. He was just canned from
he got Cardinals screwed. And
got screwed.
There it is.
The Padres are like, man, we would love to make the playoffs.
Yeah. Please, somebody help us get to the playoffs, please, for the love of God.
I asked there was rumors around that if Aaron Boone gets canned, and I kind of brought this up to a 2 Jocks and a Schlub on their last episode. I'm like, hey, what do you guys think of Aaron Boone getting shit canned by the Yankees or whatever? And they were all kind of for it, but it's just like, they didn't really know what was going to happen because I know Aaron Boone's name was kind of floated around a little bit as possible.
Well, he just signed an extension, right?
Well, that was kind of before whatever, but that was another name floated around. But is that extension official?
I think so. And did you guys see that his extension goes longer than Cashman's tenure?
Really?
Does it really? I did not see that. I did not. I
don't know how a GM can get away with that.
Yeah,
I'm not surprised though. Yeah.
Jeez. And then lastly, we got some Pecoda recap. Greg, was this you that found this?
I did find this, and I was just kind of ripping on Pecoda a little bit. be beaten up on the computers or something like that. But I just found it interesting. They had the Twins going. I wrote a bunch down. I don't have to read all of these. You guys can certainly read some if you'd like to. Otherwise, we can just skip it. But the Twin. I won't be too hard on on their Twins prediction, because let's face it, I thought the Twins were going to be, something, pretty good this year in the AL Central.
Yeah,
obviously
competitive is the right word choice.
Yeah, competitive. That is the perfect word. Obviously, that wasn't the case. Pecoda had them 91-71, 61% odds to win the AL Central. Obviously, in first place. In real life, they finished last place, going 73-89. Pecoda had the White Sox going 83-79. 83. Finishing third place with a 13% chance to win the division. The White Sox finished first place, going 93-69. The Mets, they had going 96-66 with a 77% chance to win the division. I think
poor Jack Lugo.
That was we're sorry, Jack. I know, a friend of the pod right there. 77% to win the division. That was their highest percentage. And they finished third, 79-83. And then I'll read
85.
Was that?
It was 85.
77-85.
Oh, 85? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm reading the Padres one. Never mind.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of the Padres, 96-66 to finish second place, 21% to win the division. This was an absolute collapse. 79-83, they finished third. Giants, they had at 75-87 to finish fourth place. No percent chance to win the division.
That's incredible.
The Giants finished the best record in baseball with 107-55. Another surprise, the Mariners. They had them going 70-92 to finish fourth. Not winning the division. The Mariners finished second place, flipped those wins and losses around. They go 90-72. Pretty solid right there.
Wow.
Rays, they had at 86-76 to finish second place. With an 11% chance to win the division. They finished first at 162. And I misspoke before. They had the Yankees going 97-65 for first place with an 81% chance to win the division, which was higher than the Mets I mentioned before at 77. The Yankees finished third at 92-70. Still a respectable record, sneaking in the second wild card spot there. And then lastly, your Chicago Cubbies, 85-77. Again, I will give Pecoda a little bit of a pass on this one because they did sell off. They had them finishing second place at 29% to win the division. Again, we don't know because they did sell off. We don't know how the rest of the season would have played out with the core, but they finished fourth with a 71-91 record.
They would have finished in third place, maybe.
Third, okay. So
maybe. I don't know. I don't think they were
hard. It's just
going to run like the Cardinals.
Yeah, and then there's that whole thing too. So don't know, but that was I thought that was kind of funny because Pecoda was wrong on a lot of stuff, and there was a lot more. I didn't mention it because I think I kind of went overboard anyway. But
I'd like
not a great year for Pecoda. So.
Yeah,
no, and I feel like some years they hit their mark, and then other years it's just like, oh boy,
they did.
Really
they hit the Dodgers pretty well, record wise at least, and maybe one or two other teams. But other than that, I mean, they had the Angels finishing well, which is just kind of stupid to be.
Yeah,
you always take the under on that one, but they were pretty farther than it's been in the past. So.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, I can't wait until the Pecoda comes out for next season, and we'll see where everyone's at, and then we'll have to do this again for next season for sure. I think that'll be good. Real quick, I know we're running really long, so we'll kind of go through the Bears and the hockey stuff real quick. Who do you guys got for the Bears this week? Bucks or Bears? Vinny?
Bucks.
Greg?
Bucks.
I would agree. Is this the week that Matt Nagy finally gets fired?
No.
The
Bears have never done an season firing. I don't think this is going to be the first year they do it.
It's wishful.
I don't know. We'll see what ownership Aaron Rodgers does.
Yeah, We got to see what the guy that still owns the Bears, Aaron Rodgers, says. And then lastly, before we get to our whatever segment, I just want to say the Hawks suck. Jeremy Colleton sucks. 4-1. Yes. Jeremy Colleton sucks. Stan Bowman sucks. They all suck. They're now 5 games into the season, and we have 1 point, lost in a shootout. Or no, I'm sorry, lost in overtime. Couldn't even make it to a shootout. So fix your shit. Let's go. And also be more transparent with your investigation into the abuse scandal. Please quit making me a sad Hawks fan. That's all I got. I was going to come in guns blazing, but you know what? We'll save that for next week because there's a good chance they might not have a win next week either. So, all right, let's get to the whatever segments. We're going to do our Slime 5. Greg's going to pull 5 random It's Always Sunny episodes out of a hat. And Vinny and I are going to rank them as we see fit. There'll be some trivia. There'll be some quotes, and we will go from there. So, Vinny, Greg, are you ready?
I think I'm ready to go. Justin, are you ready to go?
I am ready. Yeah. I am making a mental note of when to put in the slime music, and we are good to go. So
perfect.
Greg, take it away.
Welcome back to Consider Them Slimed. I mean, kind of a shortened version right here. So was it slimed 8.5? But we'll keep it, close and compact because I know we're running long here. So guys, are you ready? So this is how it's going to work. I'm going to read the 5 episodes. You guys compile your list. I'll read the synopsis or the summaries while you guys make your list, and then we will go from there. All right, you guys are ready to hear the episodes?
Yep. Oh, I'm ready.
Have you guys seen every episode so far? Okay.
Yes.
Just wanted to double check.
I think so.
So I had no idea there were 14 seasons. So
yes, very long.
It's very long. So without further ado, let's get this started. Welcome back to Consider Them Slime, the Slime 5 with Justin and Vinny. Okay. First episode I drew, and this was all on the website with a random episode selector. Let's go. Season 11, episode 4. D made a smut film.
Oh God, I don't know if I remember that one.
Do you want me to read the synopsis with each episode?
Sure.
D lands a bit role in a pornographic film, and Dennis uses her to direct a film adaptation of his memoir. Meanwhile, Frank, Charlie, and Mac explore the art world and are eager to prove that art is meaningless.
Oh, I have seen that one. Yes. Okay.
Okay.
That's the one where Frank dresses up like as an art critic, and he's got the wig on and
the white wig.
He's just saying a bunch of random stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Very good. Very good.
So that's the first one. So moving to the second episode, we're gonna go season 8, episode 2. The gang recycles their trash.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
With the garbage men of Philadelphia on strike, Frank concocts a plan to undercut the union and get the contract to collect the city's trash. But when the gang's elaborate plans start to fall apart, everyone will get their hands a little dirtier than expected.
Excellent. That's a great episode.
Mm-hmm. Moving on to episode 3 of the Random Draw, Slime 5, season 4, episode 7. Who pooped the bed?
Also a good one.
Frank and Charlie find that someone has defecated in their bed, and Mac and Dennis join them as they attempt to catch the culprit. Meanwhile, D leads, is it Artemis?
Yes.
And the waitress on a Sex in the City style night on the town.
That's right. I do remember that one.
Moving on to number 4, season 6, episode 7. Who got D pregnant? The gang gets a real scare after D reveals she's pregnant, forcing the guys to recall their last hazy Halloween party to determine if one of them may be the father.
That's a good one. It's also a good one.
Yep.
And the final episode of the Random Draw, gentlemen.
All right.
Season 2, an earlier one. Season 2, episode 1, Charlie gets crippled.
Oh,
Dennis
that's
and
great.
Dee's father, Frank, abruptly appears, causing Dennis to accidentally run Charlie over with his car. After seeing Charlie get attention from strippers over being in a wheelchair, the gang decides to feign disabilities in order to garner sympathy from others.
All right.
So just to recap those episodes, number 1, D made a smut film. Number 2, the gang recycles their trash. Number 3, who pooped the bed. Number 4, who got D pregnant. And number 5, Charlie gets crippled. You guys let me know when your lists are ready. Okay.
I am done.
So, guys, I don't watch the show. I probably should, so we have another topic to talk about, and I can be an active participant.
That's all right.
Was this just to gather your thoughts? Was this an easy ranking, a harder ranking? I know nothing about these episodes other than what I've copied and pasted here on my document. But you guys sounded like some of these are pretty funny.
Some of these are really good. I don't think any of these are necessarily my favorite episodes.
Okay.
But they're all,
definitely remember all of these.
They're memorable.
And, okay.
Yeah, they're so memorable. And it's funny, like most of the titles you can kind of instantly remember, but like the Smut Film one, I don't
remember that one at all. Except for Frank. I vaguely remember them doing the art show and Frank being dressed up, but
that's the only aspect I remember that one too.
Well, can I share a fun fact about Dee Made a Smut Film?
Sure.
So Dee's acting reel contains, in addition to her scene from the Smut Film she was a part in, part of the Invigoron video from Mac and Dennis's Buy a Timeshare.
Oh my God.
And her ill-fated turn as an extra in Mac and Charlie Write a Movie.
That's also a great one.
Yep.
So I guess there was footage from the acting reel or something like that.
Yes,
okay,
and that is. I feel like that's a callback in a lot of episodes. Like anytime they need to record something, they
just use the same tape.
They use the same tape, and it's like it's not edited properly, so you're getting like things. There's one callback to like when they have her trying to be a reporter, and there's she gets.
No, that was Mac.
That was Mac.
Reporter.
That was Mac.
Yeah,
that's right. And he's sweating.
And then they're trying to make her be the hero.
Yeah. With the kittens in the burning building, I think.
Yes,
right?
She kept throwing the kittens. Yep.
It is a great episode, great series. And before we go, I'll mention some of the people that wrote in with their favorites. But those are good episodes in general. So I don't know, Greg, what would you like us to do next? How do you want?
I would like to start with Vinny. And Vinny, would you give me your number 5 ranked episode of this bunch?
Yes, Dee Made a Smut Film, and I only have that there because unfortunately, I don't remember it too well.
Probably the newest episode. Of this bunch right here.
The later seasons I haven't rewatched at all yet. I think I've seen them all probably once, so those don't come to mind as clearly as the other ones did. Sure. But that one, number 5, I don't really have too much to say just because it's not that memorable.
Gotcha.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's some good ones there. Richard Grieco makes an appearance in that episode. I completely forgot about that. I don't remember why he makes an appearance in that episode, but he does. But that's a decent episode. My number 5 was Charlie Gets Crippled, just because the first like season or two, I've only seen maybe like each episode once. But there's another callback there where they go back to the strip club numerous times and they dress up as veterans. They dress up as, people to try and get the strippers' attention. I feel like for those of you who are listening who have never watched this show, the best comparison I can give you is take Seinfeld and make them even worse individuals. Like that is the premise. Like they are even that more deplorable and
bunch of degenerates.
Yeah. Like you just don't understand how they're making their way through life because they are just horrible individuals and horrible people. Nothing goes right. And when it does, it's very short lasting. It does not last long at all. But that is a good episode. But like I said, that's one of the earlier ones. So I tend to stray more into the middle to the later season. So that is why the Charlie Gets Crippled episode is my number 5. But that is that is the start of Danny DeVito being on the show. So that's also worth noting.
Okay, that was his introduction.
Because he was not in the first season. I know he's done interviews where he mentions that his kids really like the show, and he's like, "So, what do you think?" And they're like, "Oh, you should try and get on there." And obviously, more things happen than just that, but that's the way he tells the story. So, and he's been on there ever since, and he's looking closer and closer to the Penguin with every season. I think. So yeah,
getting closer to that mark
disheveled,
right there.
Yeah, like he clearly doesn't care anymore. He's just having a good time. So good for him. So
we'll do this snake draft style then. So Justin, we'll go back to you and let's get your number 4.
Yeah, my favorite, or my number 4 was the Smut Film. Dee makes a Smut Film. Like I said, Richard Grieco's in this episode. The fact that Cricket's in it as well. Cricket is the former priest that they went to high school with, who they convinced him he had a chance with their sister Dee. He leaves the priesthood. They screw him over, and he becomes a homeless person who is addicted to drugs. And
let me correct you.
Yes,
the gang didn't do anything. It was Dee.
It was Dee.
She confessed her love to him, and then Then he left, and she goes, "Oh, never mind. You should go back."
Yeah. Go back to doing what you're doing. So, he's in this episode. That's a great one. And there's just so many good, memorable scenes for me of where they're talking with people from the Film Society and from the Art Society and trying to, figure out why is this art? Why is it not? And Danny DeVito he does a great job with that. So that is my number 4.
Awesome.
This Sweet D makes a smut film.
Vinny, let's have your number 4, my friend.
Who got Sweet D pregnant? That's my number 4. That was a great, my 4 through 1 were tough to kind of pick. But yeah, that was a really good one. I love the flashbacks during the party with the different characters, and the McPoyles were in that episode, I believe.
Yes, they are.
Artemis was in that one. And that was the term browning out. They weren't blacked out, they browned out. And I love how Mac had mentioned it, and Dennis is staring at him, and Dennis is like, "You just made that up, didn't you?" He's like, "Yes, I did. Do you like it?" And he goes, "Well, yeah, I'm going to pepper that through this conversation." And Mac gets upset with him that he does that. He gets disappointed. And yeah, it was a good episode. It was a good twist in it. That at one point they think that Dennis is the father.
Yes, of his sister's child.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, that was dismissed at the end of the episode.
So I have a little trivia for you on this, boys.
Ooh,
okay.
All right.
This is the second time Dennis and Dee have been accused of engaging in incestuous sex with each other. Can you tell me the first time?
Oh, jeez.
No,
I'm drawing a blank on this one.
No, I honestly don't know.
I was hoping you would, because I do not have the answer. So
what trivia is this?
Yeah. So fans out there of the show, please write in and let us know what the answer is, because the page didn't tell me. So I was hoping one of you guys would have gotten it. I didn't know the level of difficulty that question would be. So
no, yeah.
Gosh, I don't. It's got. I'm guessing it's an episode where they blacked out or something, right? Like I don't remember it coming up very, very often.
No, I don't know.
Well, we'll do this. How about we do our research and we'll come back.
Fair enough.
And
we'll come back
we
with
get
that
some correspondence. So please tell us when is the first time Dennis and Dee have been accused of engaging in incestuous sex with each other.
Yes.
As nicely as that sounds.
Exactly.
So Vinny, we'll stick with you right here. Can you give us your number 3 ranked episode?
Number 3, Who Pooped the Bed? Love it.
That is my number 3 as well.
I love the gif of Frank. I've gone too far. I like to use that one a lot. The stories of the super turd and just Artemis breaking stuff down, and when she's trying to play detective and figure out who pooped a bed, and she blamed it on. She goes through like numerous scenarios where she's like blaming everybody pretty much that it was Dee. And I think this is also the episode where Dee gets upset that they're talking about poop all the time and they're interested in poop, and then she ends up going to an art show, and it's like a poop art show. It's got everything that looks like poop there, and she freaks out during it. But I thought this was a great episode. It was hilarious. I always like the episodes Artemis is.
Yeah, Artemis is a great character.
She's a great side character. So
yeah.
That's number 3 for me.
That was also my number 3. I just love the fact that it's almost like they're trying to recreate the scene, in a flashback of what happened. How did we get to this point? And, that's something with, I'll get to that in my number 2 as well. But yeah, anytime there's a lot of flashbacks and what they do is showing what each character's perspective is and how that completely changes the recollection of the story. Is just awesome. Spectacular. So, like Vinny said, anytime you can include Artemis is a great character that only shows up. She's probably only been in maybe 10 episodes. Would you say, Vinny? 15 episodes?
Probably more than that.
More now, probably. Yeah. But they use her just enough. And when she shows up, it's like, oh man, this is going to be good because she's
always hooking up with Frank too.
Yeah. There's an episode where we're not going to go get into that.
That's the Halloween episode. The Sweet Tea pregnant one. They talk about, banging in a Burger King.
In a Burger King, and a Wendy's
dumpster.
Wendy's bathroom. Oh, that was another episode.
Dumpster.
Where they're in the dumpster. That's right. And then the lady
because they show the clip to the dumpster,
and they said the fry cook comes out and says, "Get the hell out of here." Yeah. So my number 2 was Who Got Sweet D Pregnant. It's a Halloween episode. Vinny mentioned again, it's the origin of the brownout, where it's just enough to not really remember too much of what happened. And again, going back to the flashback, every single time a different character tells the story. Either it's a costume party, so there's different people have different costumes, but they're changing the way the costumes look based on the depictions and the explanations of each character. So I think like Frank says he's Spider-Man in his version, so he's dressed as Spider-Man. But then another version, someone says, "No, you weren't. You were Man Spider," and it's a totally different costume. And then he's arguing about Spider-Man and Man Spider, and then how they are different and similar. There's a good line about Charlie going as Phantom of the Opera, and he says something about, "I'm a vampire that eats theater people," and they're like, "No, that is not what a Phantom of the Opera is." And then obviously they call Dee a bird all the time, and her costume gets progressively more like a bird until the last story flashback is literally like an ostrich instead of a person. Just a great episode overall. And then, like you said, Vinny, the McPoyles are in it. The McPoyles are weird as hell.
Yes.
And if you've ever watched the show, it's a treat when they show up as well, because they're kind of like side characters that show up every once in a great while. So that is my number 2.
Awesome. Before we get to your number 2, Vinny, I want to circle back to the Who Pooped the Bed episode. Is there a scene where Dee goes headfirst into a car?
Yes.
So, fun fact about that.
That's right.
Kaylin Olsen.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because that's right. She's, yep. Okay.
Kaylin Olsen did the stunt in which Dee goes headfirst into a parked car when she tries to steal the shoes herself.
Yes.
The dent her head leaves in the car is real.
Oh my God.
The car was not prepared in any way to do that and was not dented before she hit it.
Ooh, ouch.
So that was a real dent. I've not seen the episode, but it sounds like it looked like it hurt from your reaction.
I'm going to have to go back and watch that now.
She hit that car hard. Yeah, that...
Apparently that was all real.
If that's real, ouch. I'm surprised she didn't come away with like a sprained neck or something.
That's crazy.
All right, wow. Vinny, let's get to your number 2 episode.
My number 2 is The Gang Recycles Trash.
Mm-hmm.
This was a really great, I was thinking about putting this one, but my number 1 was for a very specific reason. But yeah, this one was solid. They had really great callbacks at the beginning of the episode. I'm sure Justin's going to get into this, narrowing down his list, so I'm not going to take up too much of this, but it was very good callbacks. They did they did probably like 3 or 4 callbacks to prior episodes in just this one.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to say it was a great episode. Could have been my number 1, but I'm just going to, since we're snaking, I'm just going to go right into my number 1.
Yes.
Number 1, Charlie gets crippled. This episode was fantastic. Justin, you need to watch this episode.
I need to rewatch
again.
it then. Yes.
Yes. It's the introduction of Frank, who is probably the best character. And this is where the show really started taking off. Just Charlie being crippled. And then there's a scene where, Charlie gets free lap dances. So Frank's going to take him back to get more free lap dances and use them. And as they're going to the strip club, they stop at a pawn shop, and Charlie's like, "Oh, who gets more women than anybody?" And Frank's going through a list like rock stars, actors, and he goes, "Well, besides them, it's the military." And they see this 2 military outfits. One's like this old like Lieutenant Dan Vietnam War vet looking outfit. And the other one's like this really nice sailor, like perfect uniform, nicely pressed. So you think he's going to pick the really nice, clean-looking one. No, he picks the Vietnam War vet one.
Yes.
and he acts like he's insane during the episode. And Frank puts him in the corner of the strip club and boxes him in so he can get the strippers. And yeah, that episode is great. Dennis and Mac were going around telling people that they had polio, and they were Dennis had the blanket. He goes, "Well, I gotta hide my strong and taut legs, and you gotta look withered like FDR's legs." And so they actually meet a handicapped person in the mall, and the guy's like, "Oh, how are you guys? It's nice to meet other people that are in chairs, and we don't see. And Mac just interrupts him and goes, "I have polio." The guy just instantly just staring like, oh,
okay, yeah.
And Dennis is looking at me and goes, "I too have polio." And then at the end of the scene is them running and racing. They're racing in their wheelchairs to see who's better, and it ends up with them actually getting out of their wheelchairs and wrestling around in the mall, which they go back to that mall. I don't know how they aren't banned from that mall, but they keep going back to that mall at different points in the seasons later on. But yeah, that was the number one. That was, again, Frank being introduced to it, and it's been uphill ever since. So that was my number one.
Before we get to yours, Justin, I have a fun fact. As Mac and Dennis are talking about how bad they feel after running into a disabled guy in the mall, they pass a suit store. The girl and the guy working there are looking into the camera, and the girl waves to the camera. So there's a little fast. So something to go back for and look. And I did have another trivia question for this one, and both of you can answer. It's a what's the next line? So I'm going to read you a line from a character. You have to tell me the following line. This is the scene between Dennis and Dee. I'll read Dennis's part, and you guys repeat Dee's line. Let's see if you guys remember it.
I like this.
Dennis says, "Dee, you scared the shit out of me. What are you doing?" And I'm sorry if that's out of context, guys.
That could be pretty much any episode.
Think of this episode. Charlie gets crippled.
Charlie gets crippled.
Charlie gets crippled. That's for this episode.
Okay.
You scared the shit out of me. What are you doing?
Oh God. I honestly can't think of it. I can't think of it. Vinny, you got it?
I just recently watched this episode. No, I
feel like I'm a bad
hopefully
fan.
I got the right episode.
I'm a bad fan.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to turn in my fan card. I can't. I can't.
So Dee said, "No, do you have an idea?"
No, I don't.
Okay, well, I'm going to read the line and hope maybe if it rings a bell. If not, maybe it was too broad of a moment. I don't know where it is in the episode, but I'll read it again. Dennis says, "Dee, you scared the shit out of me. What are you doing?" Dee says, "Same thing you're doing. I'm not letting Dad give all this shit to poor people."
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
He came back and he said that the first
give away their inheritance, right?
No, he said that. I think he said their mother was dead, and then he lied, and that they're getting a divorce. And they're like, "Well, why would you say that?" "Well, to make it better, we're getting a divorce." And so, that they were gonna. That's right. They started taking everything from the house. Yep,
that's right.
Yep, forgot about that. But they broke into the house. That's right.
That's right. Yep. Yeah, and they're literally carrying out all these expensive things out of their house. Yeah. Oh, man. All right.
That leaves your number one, Justin. Let's have it.
My number one was the gang recycles their trash. I love that episode. Like Vinny said, there are so many callbacks. They literally start the garbage men and garbage women union is on strike. They're in the back of their bar. Garbage is piling up. And one of the favorite lines that I've come up that I've heard numerous times in the show is they talk about how voting doesn't help. And, the garbage men are on strike. And I think it's Dennis who repeats the line, "Who do I vote for? The Republican blasting me in the ass or the Democrat blasting me in the ass?" And that's actually a callback to another episode where they tried to run for political office.
Yep.
So they decide they're going to go around and take people's garbage and bring it to the dump themselves. There's the theory of, okay, what should we rent in terms of a vehicle? They don't want to rent a garbage truck because then the garbage men will notice and they'll come after them for being scabs. So they decide to rent a stretch limo. And they dress up in tuxes, and they're going to be like classy garbage men, I think is what they say.
Yep.
They come up with a song when they ring the people's doorbell, says, "Can we take your trash?" And they sing a song for them. Things are going really good. And I think the fact that the plan is actually working is what throws them off. Dee gets really weird. Dee ends up trying to, I think she tries to keep the strike going,
Martinez?
Right? Martina Martinez. Yes. Take that with what you take that for what you will. Yes. And then at the end of the episode, the strikers see that they have all this garbage in their limo and they go to kick the shit out of them in the limo. It's an awesome episode. There's also a callback to Charlie being the wild card and pretending to cut the brakes on their van. It's just an awesome episode. It is so funny. And For some reason, Mac wants to hang on the back of the limo like a garbage man would hang on the back of the truck.
Yes.
So he's hanging on to like the rear little fin spoiler of the limo, but he keeps saying he's getting hit with bugs in his face. And I think there's a scene where you see all these bugs in his teeth and stuff because he's smiling, when he's riding on the back of the limo. And they're literally just piling this stretch limo full of garbage bags. And they, the beginning, they're in this spotless tuxes. And by the end of the episode, they just look like complete garbage, for lack of a better word.
Yes.
They're covered in filth. It's just such a good episode. So that is why it's my number one.
Good call.
Nice.
And I have a fun fact about this, but I think you both kind of touched on that already. Initially, this episode was supposed to be the season premiere.
Oh, wow.
It was moved from the premiere slot at the request of FX, who thought that this would not be an episode really suited for new viewers tuning into to catch the season premiere due to all the callbacks of the previous episode. So that's why it got bumped from 1 to 2 of season 8. So I think our lists are complete. I'll review them right now, and please tell me if I got them wrong. Vinny, from 5 to 1, you have D made a smut film. Who got D pregnant?
Yep.
Who pooped the bed?
Yep.
The gang recycle their trash.
Yep.
And Charlie gets crippled as your number 1. Yep. And Justin, you had Charlie gets crippled as your number 5. D made a smut film as number 4. Who pooped the bed as number 3. Who got D pregnant at 2, and then number 1, you have the gang recycle their trash.
Excellent.
Final rankings, gentlemen.
Perfect.
Yep. All right. Sounds like you had fun.
Yeah.
That has been the Slimed 5 revisited again. It's always sunny in Philadelphia. I hope you guys had a good time. I definitely want to revisit this again because I had fun playing host right here.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Good.
I kind of like not being on the spot. So.
It's kind of a nice.
Just having fun with you guys a little bit.
Do you guys want to just go over real quick a few of the episodes people wrote in that they said they liked?
Absolutely.
It seemed like a lot of people got excited when we said we're talking It's Always Sunny. So Paul from Sports Logos, we did a podcast episode with him ranking logos. He also has a book. If you search I'll have to look up what it's called and put it in the show notes, but it's all about where minor league baseball teams got their logos, where they originated from. He wrote it and said the World Series defense, where they are literally talking about when the Phillies won the World Series and they're trying to get to the game and a bunch of crazy stuff happens. It's a great episode. We find out that Mac has this deep-seated love for Chase Utley and wants to have a catch with him and be best friends. And he's, sweet. Dee's going to run on the field, and I think she says she's going to tackle or hug Shane Victorino, I think, at one point.
Yes, the Flying Hawaiian. She was going to kiss him.
That's right. So he said the World Series defense. Zach from Facebook also said the World Series defense. Great episode in general. Dan from Facebook, he said the gang gets invincible. That's an early one. That's a good one where they are trying out for the Eagles, and Dee becomes this star kicker, and they might draft her. The gang gives back when Charlie is a ref and coaching youth basketball is probably one of my favorite earlier episodes.
A good one.
They're trying to teach kids how to play basketball.
They're on
community service, right?
It's episode 2, because Dennis hit the guy that was dating or going out with Dee.
That's right.
Or she was trying to go out with. At the end of episode, Charlie gets crippled, and then they all get put on community service. No, actually. Correction. That was the one where they threw the flaming pile of poop in the building and blew it up. That's what's forgot the name of that episode, but that's one with I do remember that one. But like they take the kids and one team, they're telling them to put like sweatbands with safety pins open, and then the other ones are telling them to wear steel toe boots. There's one kid that's wearing sandals trying to play basketball, and they're like, what are you doing, dude? So those are good. Dick from Facebook said making Dennis Reynolds a murderer and the couch surfing Germans. It's literally they're going through an episode. They think Dennis killed his former ex-wife. And it turns out she died because she turned herself into a cat, right? Wasn't that kind of and she fell off the building. She just fell off.
She fell off.
They want to say that he pushed her, and they made like a making of the murder film, like documentary series, and made it
from
look
like Netflix.
Dennis was a murderer.
That was a good one. Laura wrote in and said the Dennis system, which is great, where he talks about his foolproof system to get women to date him.
Yes.
The episode where Frank sets Sweet D on fire. Go ahead, Vinny. What did you want to say?
I was going to say that was the the introduction to Dr. Mantis.
Toboggan Mantis.
Yeah.
Yes.
MD.
MD. Laura also said Dee and Dennis go on welfare. That's a great one.
Yep.
Seeing them try to buy crack in a bad part of Philadelphia and they don't know what to say or do and they get very worried is a good one. Gang beats Boggs. That's where they try and beat the supposed urban legend that Wade Boggs drank 50 beers on a cross country flight.
Yep.
He shows up in the episode too, which is a great one. Then the last one she said was them trying to desperately win an award. That is also one of my favorites.
That is a good one too.
Where they are literally trying to spruce up the bar and trying to have, I think, an industry night to win an award for best bar in Philly, and it just goes horribly wrong.
The will they, won't they part is what I loved.
Yes, that's good. Oscar from The Office is in that episode as well, so that's a good throwback there. Erica wrote in, obviously she is the one that got me hooked on this show. So she said the Charlie Work episode, that is a great episode. They do it. It's, I think there's 3 cuts, but they do it so it looks like there's no cuts whatsoever. And it's Charlie trying to save the bar from getting shut down by a health inspector. And he's got all these crazy plans. It's one of the best episodes ever. It's hysterical. Mac is a serial killer. That's one where they think he's a serial killer. And it turns out to be Dee's neighbor. Mac and Dennis moving to the suburbs is incredible. I love that episode.
I think I've seen that one. I think I saw that at
that was a really good one,
Justin.
Whenever I sit in traffic, I think of Dennis screaming, "You fat cow, learn to merge."
Yes.
Yep.
I've seen that one.
The Maureen Ponderosa Wedding Massacre is great.
Good one.
Mac and Dennis break up. Erica liked this because obviously our first dog together was named Dee. In that episode, she would look at the screen when they'd be yelling her name. And then I'm going to try and be a little more correct with this one because I don't want to get us in trouble. Dee dates a special needs rapper. Dennis,
I just saw that one.
Yes, I'm surprised that one is still on, to be honest. But
I was shocked because of the use of the R word during that.
Yes, yes. Dee has a new boyfriend who's this up and coming rapper, and Dennis convinces her that she is special, that he has special needs. It like I said, it's Seinfeld, but 10 times darker. So,
yes.
My mom and dad wrote in their favorites are The Gang Goes to the Grand Canyon and The Gang Buys a Boat. Those are probably 2 of my favorites as well. Yes. I've never heard my dad laugh so hard when he watches those episodes. There's a part where they're going to the Grand Canyon. Sweet Dee has to keep going to the bathroom and she's drunk already and she fills a jar of piss. And instead of just holding on to it until they can dump it, she throws it out her window, but Mac's in the back seat with the window open and it just splashes all over his face.
Well, she wasn't drunk yet. She wasn't drunk because they forced her to drive.
They forced her to drive. That's right.
Because it was her car.
That's right. Yeah. And then she got a tape deck, but she had no tapes because it was cheaper than a CD.
She got it was not a swap meet, but a flea market.
Yes, that's right. That's
where Charlie eats a pear for the first time and eats the sticker because he didn't know.
He didn't know. You eat the stem too?
He ate everything.
I eat stickers all the time. I still to this day have never had a pear, so I'm like Charlie in that way.
I love the scene in that one where they're driving in Dennis's car and there's the biker that's bicycling in the middle of the road and then they honk it and Mac's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna graze this beer bottle right past his bell tower," and he throws
him right in the head,
square in the back of the head, and the bike falls underneath the car, and the guy falls on the ground.
Is he dead? Oh, he's getting up. He's getting up. Time to go.
He's got a tire iron.
Zach wrote in on the text line, Vinny. He said all of them, but if you had to choose The Nightman Cometh, that's a great one where Charlie writes a play all about the Nightman, which check that one out. The Gang Dines Out, I believe. Is that the one where they're all at the same restaurant, but they're not eating together?
Yes. Yep. And pairs. And Dee's eating by herself because she had a coupon.
That's right. That's right. He also mentioned The Gang Recycles Their Trash is one of his favorites. Gang Gets Analyzed. That's a great one. Officer Trudy from Reno 911 is in that episode. He also mentioned Charlie Work and The Gang Solves the Gas Crisis, which is also another good one where they are filling up barrels of gas and trying to sell it for cheap.
It's pretty much the first part of the recycling one.
Exactly.
It's called the first callback.
It is. And then lastly, Jason wrote into the text line, The Gang Goes to the Jersey Shore because of the rum ham. Mac Day, where Stifler himself comes and pretends to be or plays Mac's cousin, and then the Dennis system, like we mentioned earlier. The Jersey Shore one is good. It is a crazy episode. There is a lot of really weird stuff that happens in that episode.
Underneath the boardwalk.
Oh God, yeah. Oh,
I just love that. What'd you bring me down here for?
Yeah.
Is that what you wanted to do?
There are so many things we could be saying extra, Greg, about these episodes, but we would not allow, this podcast would not be allowed to air. Let's say that's just so. So no, that was a lot of fun.
Well, it sounds like you guys are definitely passionate about the show.
We are.
So two things, I have to check it out, and second thing, I have to bring you guys back to this. Yes, I think there's a good whatever section because I think you guys have a lot to say about this. And I like my random episode selection and my fun facts to shoot.
That was good.
So.
That was good. I like it. Greg is a consummate host. Like he's just he's.
I am all for hosting this half section of the podcast.
I think we should do that from now on, Greg. I like it.
Yep.
But I do want
whatever host.
Right. But I do want listener feedback of this. I want your rankings. It's Always Sunny's fans. So I want you to send me your top 5, or not your 5, but rank these 5 for me. I'll go over them again. D made a smut film. The gang recycled their trash. Who pooped the bed? Who got D pregnant? And Charlie gets crippled. 1 to 5. Send them in. We're definitely curious. See how your lists stack up to Justin and Vinny's right here. So
excellent.
That's all I have for whatever, and consider them slimed 8.5.
I dig it. I dig it. Vinny, you got any other parting words before we wrap up?
I don't. This is fun. We'll definitely have to do it again. Maybe get a couple answers to the trivia questions.
I know.
Greg.
I feel really bad.
You know what?
Bad.
Now I'm be up all night thinking about it.
I didn't know where to look for it, guys. So I didn't know where it would have been, how I would have found it. So I'm like, oh God, I hope they know I took a wing and a prayer. And like, we'll see. But maybe our listener feedback will help us out with it. So it's up to you guys now to rediscover it. And I'll do what I can, but it's probably not going to go too far. So
that's all right.
Help us out. Help us out, listeners. Get Erica on this. I'm sure
I will.
Yeah.
She's probably screaming into her headphones right now saying, "You 3 idiots. It's so obvious."
The lamos.
We're the lamos.
Exactly.
Baseball and the lamos.
Baseball and the lamos. Greg, you got anything else you want to share before we wrap up?
I do not. Had a lot of fun today. We covered a lot of random shit. So how fitting for
good stuff.
For this episode.
Very good stuff. All right. Well, like Greg said, let us know what you think about these rankings. Email us at baseballandwhatever@gmail.com, facebook.com/baseballandwhatever, and tweet us at baseballandwhat. We are doing another logo ranking for the guys over at the 3 spot, so be sure to check that out in the next couple days, and I'm hoping they'll have us on so we can discuss it, or maybe we'll just send Vinny this time and he can draft it himself.
Vinny. Yeah, I think that's only fair.
And then he can say, "Oh, I'm sorry, Justin and Greg. No, I'm not."
He'll win us the draft because I don't think you and I did so well, Justin.
No, but you know what? I did well in here, and that's all that matters. So, all right. Before I forget, we're also in the near future launching our line of merchandise. We're working on our design with the good folks at Bonfire. So we will keep you posted on that. But other than that, that's it. Episode 28 is in the books, and we will see you next time. Thanks, guys.
Good night, everyone.
See ya.